Thank you for coming to our Modern Prospecting series. I'm Brandon Lee. I'm the founder of Fistbump, and we created this webinar series several months ago because, as you probably know, or maybe you don't, I'm also the founder and the co-host of Mastering Modern Selling, which is our live show and our podcast that has really evolved over the years. We talk a lot about selling. We also just talk a lot about using LinkedIn to build reputation and build rapport and grow network. As anybody's ever watched the show, I'm a big fan of the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, and network, because our net worth is really very, very strongly connected to our network. So the Modern Prospecting series came about because we got a lot of questions. We had a lot of messages coming in from the live show and podcast, and people saying, we want more, we want to go deeper. So the webinar series is designed to get more tactical, to get deeper, to really roll up our sleeves and teach and train you all how to do the things that you're asking about. And Rob has joined us because he specializes in helping Microsoft partners win deals with Microsoft sellers. And he's got a playbook, and we're going to bring that to you today. So, Rob, welcome to our Modern Selling webinar series.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm super excited for this. I'm real passionate about the Microsoft ecosystem and the partners that are part of that ecosystem. So looking forward to today.
Yeah, and for everybody, Rob and I met in real life for the first time just a few days ago. I got to go to San Francisco for a client, and Rob was gracious enough to drive into the city and pick me up. And we had a great dinner in Chinatown. Rob chose an excellent place, and it was great to be able to see each other. And before we move, I just want to remind everybody, like when we use LinkedIn well, we're consistent. We share not just our business and what we do. As I like to say, we merge our humanity and our personal experiences with our knowledge and awareness, so that we're showing up in LinkedIn in our humanity and sharing. I use the word humanity instead of personal, because I don't like to get in those conversations like, well, Facebook's for personal and LinkedIn's for business. That's great, but we've never hidden our humanity in business. When we go to dinner with clients, we're at networking events, we talk about more things about our humanity than just business. And LinkedIn is the same thing. So when we bring that humanity to LinkedIn and we're consistent, what happens is when you meet people for the first time, a lot of times you're getting a fist bump or you're getting a hug instead of a handshake, because you can build real relationships in LinkedIn when you do it well and consistent. So just a good reminder, as Rob and I got to meet and go have dinner this week. So
Yeah, it's so true, Brandon. I love what you said there, because for me, it felt like I was just getting together with an old friend. And it's so interesting that we'd never met in person, and we've communicated on LinkedIn for years. And so it
yep.
was really, to me, just like, sitting down with an old friend.
And it was,
Yeah.
right? Even though we hadn't been in person before, but we were sitting down with an old friend because of the amount of, you post a lot, I post a lot, we comment on each other's posts. It's led us into Zoom conversations and team conversations and phone calls and text messages. It just happened to be the first time that we were in a room together,
Right.
right? But we developed that relationship through these virtual social networks. And it's led to here we are today, co-hosting a webinar together and doing business work together, even though we first met in real life for the first time just 4 days ago. Crazy world we live in.
It is.
So, Rob, tell us a little bit about you and your company and what you do for Microsoft partners.
Yeah, so for me, I've been in the Microsoft ecosystem now coming up on 20 years, and I've never worked for Microsoft. I've always been in the partner community. I started off as an individual contributor on a sales team. I've worked in marketing roles, and then I moved from being an individual contributor to founding a Microsoft partner focused in what Microsoft refers to as the modern work area. And then from there, I had a chance to exit that company and started a new company that really coaches Microsoft partners on how to work with Microsoft, how to really create the synergy and the sort of the flywheel effect of partnering with Microsoft so that you can drive business for your partner, or for you as the partner, you can drive business for Microsoft, and then ultimately to service the customer. So now it's really about coaching and teaching partners what I've learned over the last 20 years.
And what you learned is a four-part system that we want to teach everybody today. So we're going to jump in a little bit, and these are your objectives and what everybody can expect to learn by the end of the day. You want to chat on these a little bit?
Yeah. So for me, as you mentioned, I really boiled down the relationship with Microsoft to four key components. And Microsoft is a massive organization. There's hundreds of programs. There's all kinds of different ways and partner types, ways to connect with Microsoft. And so what I've tried to do is really boil it down to the four essential things that you need to understand to partner with Microsoft. So whether you're a systems integrator or what we refer to as an SI, whether you're a ISV or independent software vendor, training partner, device partner, there are really four core functions or core components of the relationship with Microsoft. And we've touched on these here with crafting a message that resonates. You really have to understand how to speak with Microsoft. And I'm not talking about your corporate facing or your customer facing messaging. My expectation is that you've really nailed that. You understand how to communicate to your customer. But when it comes to communicating to Microsoft, it's a little bit different. So really understanding that, and then finding out who to connect with in Microsoft. So who's going to be your ideal person inside of Microsoft, or people inside of Microsoft. And then from there, we talk about operationalizing all the programs that Microsoft has to offer. So the big one is the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program. And I don't think it's any secret that that is Microsoft's go forward motion. All partners are going to plug into that program in one way, shape, or form. And then ultimately, it's all in service of what Microsoft talks about as co-selling with Microsoft. So that's really what we're going to talk about today. We're going to break that down, each of those four phases. We're going to go deep and look forward to really getting into any questions that our audience has today.
Yeah, so Rob, let's jump into it. And just a reminder for everybody, add your questions. Nora's working the chat and the Q&A. We will do Q&A at the end as well, but if you have questions, pop them in. And if we don't get to them right then and there, then Nora will make sure that we remember them and bring them back up at the end. So Rob, let's jump into phase one.
Sounds good. So messaging, as I alluded to, again, this is your messaging for Microsoft. So when you're speaking to a Microsoft seller, a general manager, a director in the sales team, you want to have a message that's going to land and resonate with them, something that's going to really set you apart from the rest of the ecosystem. And I can't stress that enough, that there's roughly 400,000 partners in the Microsoft ecosystem. So
Just
it's
a few.
super, right? Super crowded. And whether you're in modern work or you're in data and AI or biz apps or any of the sort of solution areas that Microsoft focuses on, there's going to be thousands, if not tens of thousands, of partners that want what you want, which is to get on the radar of a Microsoft seller, wanting to co-sell with those individuals. So what I talk to partners about, and we'll stay on the message creation for just a minute, is there's 5 questions you have to be able to answer. And those 5 questions, I tell partners, you have to be able to answer them in 90 seconds. You have to be able to answer in 30 minutes. You really have to have multiple ways and different approaches depending on the situation. But the 5 questions are really critical. And let's go through those real quick, Brandon, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. So the first question, who you are. And that can be as simple as, I'm a Microsoft partner focused on biz apps. So it just tells them where you fit. It really quickly gives the Microsoft person, okay, I know that they play in my sort of baseball field. So I've got the who you are, then the what you do. From the what you do, it's the who you do it for, so that now they understand who your ideal client is, who's the client you're best positioned to serve. And then next is the how you do it. And this one, it trips partners up, but it's not the how you do it technically, it's how you do it as a sales process. What's the journey you take a customer on? How do you move a customer through a journey in service of ultimately getting the customer what they want, their outcome, and Microsoft what they want, whether that's licenses in Microsoft 365 or Azure. So it's the how you do it. But then the fifth one, the fifth question that you have to answer, this is the one that really almost universally partners miss, and that's what's in it for Microsoft to work with you. So you have to be very cognizant of the fact that Microsoft, just like us as partners and as individual contributors and sellers, they're measured each week, each month, each quarter on how they're delivering it and are they meeting their quota. So you have to be able to say to the Microsoft seller, this is what's in it for you to work with me. That can be whether it's license sales, whether it's Azure consumption, whether it's go-to-market initiatives that you're running on behalf of Microsoft. There's all kinds of things that you can bring to the table, but you have to communicate those. So
And
that's, yeah.
yeah, can I, because, Carson, for those that know, Carson Hetty is my co-host on the show, and I hear him say all the time, and it just makes sense. You know, so many partners go to Microsoft sellers and go, may I have some leads, please? Right? We always joke around about it. It's like, the orphan kid from, well, I can't even remember the movie, but it's like, can I have some leads, please? And Carson's always telling everybody, it's like, you've got to go align yourself with the Microsoft sellers. And then one of the first things he always says is go to them and say, what do you need to reach club this year?
Yeah,
Like, I want to help you hit club. What do you need? And then align your conversation with that person. Cause the WIFM, what's in it for me, is always top of mind with everybody. And
yeah.
Microsoft sellers aren't any different.
It's so true. It's I hear from partners, they come to me and they say, well, we're not getting any leads from Microsoft. And my first question is, well, why are you expecting leads? And they'll say, well, we're a partner. I'm like, well, there's 400,000 of you. So, it's not a small ecosystem. And so I really try and help partners see the value that they can bring to that Microsoft seller to do just what you said, is to help them achieve their goals, help them get to Gold Club, Platinum Club, help them hit their quota so that they're getting they're achieving their goals and both the personal and professional goals. So it's really important that you understand it's a two-way street. You have to help them as much as they want to help you. So it's really important to understand that. Yeah, which
Awesome.
leads me to that next point, which is alignment and understanding. So, in depending on who you talk to, there could be roughly 35,000 quota carrying people inside of Microsoft. And only a percentage of those people are really going to align well with your organization. So the trick and sometimes the $1 million question is, how do I find those people, or who are those people? So it's really important that you start thinking about how you're going to align and who you're going to align with, so that it's, as you're creating that message, you're refining it for that type of person inside of Microsoft. So that's what I mean when I talk about alignment.
Yeah, and I think what I like about that too, Rob, is we talk a lot about, in this modern world, everything seems so fast. It's like, go slow to move fast.
Yeah,
Know who, do the work. There's 35,000 of them, or more. Do
yeah,
the work to find out which ones are you going to resonate with, and really focus on them. Go a little bit slower in order to move fast. Because when you find the right person, the right partner, the right messaging, all of a sudden leads are pretty abundant, right?
absolutely, absolutely. When you find the person that you connect with, that you can serve and you can help inside of Microsoft, it's a mutual beneficial relationship, and it's one that both parties can thrive when it's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, good stuff. What's profile mapping?
So, Brandon, this is where we start to dip into your world. So, this is all about leveraging your network. So, starting to think about, before you make that first call or that first reach out on LinkedIn, who do you know today? What have you done to look at your own network and see who you're connected with? So, we are all on LinkedIn, or the large majority of people I talk to are on LinkedIn, and all of us are connected to somebody. And so what I talk about here is, who do you know today that you're already connected with that could be your first foot in the door, or the sort of dipping your toe in the water of connecting with Microsoft. So I spend a lot of time talking to partners about how important it is to start to leverage your network and start to really operationalize your network, and leverage that network to find a way in. Because this motion of partnering with Microsoft is very similar to selling to customers. You have to work and earn your way, into that relationship, whether that's through building trust or adding value. It's all about that relationship. And if you can have a referral in, that's so important and so valuable. And so this is where, and we'll talk more about it in the next section, but this is where we're really starting to bleed into your network and leveraging your network.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pause because you know me, I could get all excited and start talking about that and motivate people. Like, LinkedIn, this is the coolest tool to leverage your network if you use it well and to grow your network and expand your influence and meet more people. But I'll wait just a little bit, and then I'll go full Brandon on it. So let's jump into your phase two.
Yeah, so let's go right to the first sort of component of phase two. And this is where, when I talk to partners, they really just want to start here. Everybody's like, I just want to start selling with Microsoft. I want those leads. How do I get those leads? And so, you know, and this is why I always start with messaging, is that before you get in front of a Microsoft seller, you really have to understand how to talk to them. But now that we've understood, we've crafted our message, we know we've answered the 5 questions of who we are, what we do, how we do it, who we do it for, and then what's in it for Microsoft. Now comes the time to where let's start working with the Microsoft field. So if you advance the slide here, so we get that first bullet, which is the Microsoft field engagement. This is where we start reaching out. We start to see who we're connected with. We start to reach out and deliver that message that we crafted earlier. We want to get in front of Microsoft folks, and we want to share that message. We want to get the feedback from them. We also want to have a really clear call to action when we meet these Microsoft sellers. And that call to action is focused around what we talked about earlier, which is the with them, the what's in it for me. We want to share all the first 4 questions, but then we really want to dive down in what's in it for Microsoft to work with you. So this is leveraging LinkedIn now. We are full on in Brandon territory here, where now it's all about how are you going and finding these people. So whether that's through LinkedIn or Sales Navigator, what's the motion you're creating? Are you leveraging the referrals that you have through your own network to talk to these people? And if you don't have those referrals, how are you reaching out? What are you doing? What strategies are you using? And this is where, full disclosure, I've taken lots of lessons from you is, start following your ideal clients inside of Microsoft on LinkedIn. See what they're posting. Comment on what they're posting. Really get involved with them. Become part of their network without even ever reaching out and trying to connect with them or asking for anything. Start adding value to them just in the early phases of commenting on their content in LinkedIn. Really leveraging the platform to do what it's designed to do, which is help you network. So, Brent, I'm gonna let you chat here about this. This is
I'm just
your
fighting at the bit. I'm like,
go,
yeah,
go, go.
yeah. And this is where, look, it's I get it. It's hard, but it's not that hard once you get used to it. And I'll just tell a little story. A couple of them that I really like. So this past week, when I met Rob in San Francisco, I was there serving a client. We were doing workshops. We're working with an enterprise sales team, but large company, downtown San Francisco, beautiful offices. Their CEO took time to come and meet me because I have been engaging with his content for the last 4 to 5 months. I built a relationship with him online. I've never called him. I never sent him an email. I didn't really get, too in his face, but I comment on his post, and he took the time to want to come and meet me because he knew I was in the office working with one of his teams. Like, this is how we build our network and we build rapport and we bring ourselves up, we rise out of the noise. And the only way we can do it is with the actions that we can control. We can comment and we can publish content, right? And the more that we comment, the more we're seen. And I'll get into this towards the end when we kind of wrap up why this is what Rob is talking about and what he offers for Microsoft partners is so relevant to LinkedIn. But we got to rise above the noise. We have to build reputation for ourselves. And the only way we can do that is by doing the things that we can control. We can comment, which means we get seen in lots of places, serving other people, commenting, engaging in their digital conversations, and the things that we actually say. And I'll leave it at that. You all know me, man. I'm loving this stuff, but I'll pause.
Well, so I want to just add on to that a little bit before we get to the partner sales team enablement is that, people say to me, well, who? And Microsoft owns LinkedIn. So let's call a spade a spade. They are using the platform. I mean, Microsoft sellers are on that platform. Even if the seller you want to connect with isn't active on that platform, I can almost certainly guarantee you they are following the executive teams, so their executive teams, and there is very few Microsoft executives that are not active on LinkedIn. So if you are even engaging with other people's posts that your ideal person is following, they still have an opportunity to see your name. They still have an opportunity to become familiar with who you are, even if you're not engaging with them directly. But obviously, if they are posting and the person you want to talk to is posting on LinkedIn, as Brendan, you alluded to, comment on their stuff, not in service of anything, but just adding value to that conversation, and it will pay off in spades.
And here's how it pays off for everybody. I know sometimes there's a disconnect, like, well, how does my commenting work? Like when you comment, people get notifications directly from LinkedIn. We talked about this the other day in my workshop. Like when I see a post, it's either published by somebody I really want to meet or somebody I really want to meet commented on it. And normally there's like a lot of likes because that's the easy thing to do. People like it. And like one or two comments. And I go, oh, good, oh, good, oh, good. Because when I comment, the first thing that's going to happen is LinkedIn will send everybody that's liked it or commented on it before me and the person who published it. LinkedIn will send them a notification, sometimes even an email that'll say, Brandon Lee commented on this post, and show them my comment and give them a call to action button that says, click here to join the conversation. We want to talk about rising above the noise, standing out from the crowd, being different than the sea of sameness. LinkedIn's helping me do that. And they see my picture, they see my name. We do this continually every week, every week, every week. Guess what? Your name and your picture becomes familiar. And then when you're reaching out to them, you make a call, you send an email, you see them at a conference, whatever it may be. Oh, I know you. And that is a huge, huge difference and a huge value compared to everybody else that's out there with these nameless, faceless pitches wanting to get their attention.
Yeah, I mean, you bring it's such a great point, Brendan. Can you imagine if you're a Microsoft partner and you work on the sales team and a Microsoft person reaches out to you and says, oh, I feel like I know you, like how crazy is that? How valuable is that? So, which brings me right into the next point, which is the partner sales team enablement. This motion that we're talking about, this LinkedIn motion, this connecting, it's not a marketing function. It's not a corporate executive function. It's a company-wide function, but more specifically for you as a salesperson at a Microsoft partner, this is something you need to enable yourself to do. You need to build this into your process. And really, I encourage sales teams to build it in across the entire sales team so that the entire sales team is enabled and understands how to operationalize this tool that we have, this process we have of connecting and building these relationships. So it's really important to not just have this off in, say, a Microsoft Alliance Manager or off in marketing. This has to be a sales team wide approach. And again, I'll argue that it should be a company wide approach from the top executives all the way down to the sellers. So that's really what I mean when I talk about partner sales team enablement.
And Rob, it reminds me, so I was about a month ago, I was at field service USA out in Palm Springs with a client who's a Microsoft partner. And, the first night I get there, they're like, "Oh, you want to come join us for dinner?" I said, "Sure. What are we doing?" He's like, "We're taking a bunch of Microsoft sellers out to dinner tonight." I said, "Great. Why did they do that?" And think about all the companies out there that are Microsoft partners. You take Microsoft sellers out to dinner to meet them, to get to know them, to build a relationship with them, right? To stand out from the rest of the Microsoft partners that are saying, "Send me leads, send me leads, send me leads."
Yeah.
Well, what if you could do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year by leveraging LinkedIn? By
Yeah.
empowering your leadership and empowering your team to do the things that we're saying, creating great content that follows Rob's 5-touch messaging so they know who you are. And we're messaging it over and over, who we are, who we serve. Share your case studies, do things with your current clients so that Microsoft sellers can see how you're serving customers. And then that consistency of being in LinkedIn. Here's the best thing. You show up at these events and you have Microsoft sellers walking up to you going, "Hey, there you are. I know you. Because we've met and we see each other on LinkedIn." And they come to you like a friend because you've built that relationship with them on LinkedIn. You can do it in real life. I get it. But how many events do you go to in a year?
Yeah.
5, 6, maybe 8? Well, guess what? We can do this on LinkedIn every single day of the year.
Right. Yeah. And it's so, yeah, the leverage that you can achieve through LinkedIn is, I mean, it's second to none. And not that I don't have the opportunity to go to dinner with Microsoft sellers, and it's such a great way to build a relationship, but you can only have so many dinners and you can only get so many people to those dinners. Whereas on LinkedIn, really everyone is accessible in the LinkedIn platform.
Love it. All right, solution plays.
Solution plays it. And this is an area, and I'm going to borrow a term from Carson, who you
Yep.
mentioned earlier. So
Great.
I love what Carson talks about here, the plays that get you paid. And what solution plays are, these are areas that Microsoft is focused on, areas that Microsoft wants their sales teams focused on getting in front of customers. So whether that's in the dynamics arena or it's a modern workplay for Teams Voice, whatever it might be, Microsoft continually is publishing solution plays that says to the Microsoft field, here's what we want focused on, and here's how we believe that you can best get this solution in front of your customer and get your customer consuming it. So I encourage all partners to understand what solution plays are available from Microsoft in your discipline or your what we refer to as solution designation. So very
Awesome.
key, and then needs to be integrated. So, which takes us to phase, and phase three is very tactical and very operational. There's two key areas, and we can go to the first point here, which is operationalizing Partner Center. So Microsoft Partner Center is the way you as a partner communicate the impact you're making to Microsoft. It's the way that Microsoft transfers leads to you and that you share leads with Microsoft. It's the way Microsoft works on your or delivers incentives and incentive programs. It's how you leverage programs. So I can't tell you enough how important Operational and Partner Center is, understanding Partner Center, making it really a part of your business so that you are ensuring that the impact you're making is shared with Microsoft. So people say to me, well, how do I work with Microsoft when I'm in the SMB space or the space that what Microsoft calls unmanaged? This is how you do it. This is how you measure that impact and share that impact with Microsoft. And it's through Partner Center and sharing the work you're doing through a process called claiming partner of record, through uploading leads into the referrals component of Partner Center. This is the place that you must absolutely have a process around. It must be part of your go-to-market strategy. So it's so important here to really understand Partner Center and leverage Partner Center to its fullest.
And Rob, is that something that partners should have? Should this be somebody's role in the company? Like somebody owns it to ensure that it's done consistently? Like, is that a good investment from a partner standpoint?
At some point in every partner's journey, you will get to a place where managing Partner Center can be, near a full-time job. But if you look at the leverage you can attain through Partner Center, you look at the places inside Partner Center that you're sort of getting the most benefit from, assigning those to certain individuals, whether there's the claiming partner of record or the CPOR and DPOR PAL can live with a project manager as an example for a part of time, and you can have an assistant or an admin focusing on monitoring your scores and your solution testing. So early on in your journey, it's a process that's probably going to be shared. But as you grow and as your impact grows, this very much can be a full-time job.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
Absolutely.
makes sense. And it seems like the value is there to make it worthwhile.
Absolutely.
And Rob, I'm going to put all of these up.
Sure.
Oops, went too far.
No problem. I know
Just
we gotta
keeping
keep
a look
it.
on time. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next point is marketplace, and Microsoft is doubling down on marketplace. So Microsoft is encouraging every partner to get their solutions, whether you're an ISV with a software solution or you're an SI or systems integrator with a consulting offer. Microsoft wants to see those offers in marketplace. And the whole point of that is that we're seeing as an industry the buyer journey changing. Buyers want to self-serve more and more, and the marketplace is the way to facilitate that. So that's a bit about the marketplace. It's a big strategy. It's a big part of Microsoft's strategy going forward. So I encourage every partner to leverage that. And it is also part of Partner Center. So you'll need to incorporate that in your Partner Center strategy. And then finally, the success KPIs and metrics. This really is about measuring what matters to you as a partner. How many Microsoft meetings are you holding? How many reach outs are you doing? Are you managing and measuring your commenting strategy on LinkedIn? Look at the different components of your business that are critical to the success, the things that you get the most bang for your buck. And so I talk a lot about measuring and metrics. With that, we can move on to phase 4, which is the programs and incentives. So first and foremost, I think I mentioned it early on in our discussion, Brandon, was that the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program is the new program going forward. It's the umbrella for all of the programs Microsoft is going to run. So really understanding the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program, which is a mouthful, is going to be critical to your success. And the programs under the umbrella program are going to depend on what type of partner you are, whether you're an SI, an ISV, whether you're a training partner or a device partner. There's different avenues within the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program for you to follow. And one of those areas, and one that I think partners really want to focus on, is the funding opportunities. There's just dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of programs offered by Microsoft that include incentive dollars. So really understanding, based on what type of partner you are and what your solution designation is, that what funding programs are available to you. So that's key to really understand that, which takes us to the final component of working with Microsoft. And this is really what partners say to me: I just want to co-sell with Microsoft, or I want the leads, and what they're really saying is I want to co-sell with Microsoft. And getting to the co-sell ready status really is a combination of all of 3 components, and even just the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program. It's bringing all of that together and building co-sell motions that make sense for you as a partner, for the offer you bring to market or the offers you bring to market, the way you bring them to market, and aligning those with Microsoft, whether it be through programs like the IP Azure co-sell incentivized programs, or all kinds of different programs. There are just a plethora of ways that you can co-sell with Microsoft. And so putting all of the components of phase 1, 2, and 3 together really set you up for success in phase 4 and for co-selling. So that is the sort of brings all four pieces together in your success journey. And as I said at the beginning, is this is really a model I followed both as an individual contributor working for Microsoft partners, as the owner of a Microsoft partner, and now this is what I teach when I meet with customers. I help them build their own playbook around these four core success components.
Love it. Love it. And we've got, there it is. If anybody wants, you can screen capture it or anything. You've got all four phases there. And remember, here's your four core pillars.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you just to do a summary. And I'm always fascinated too with the co-selling with Microsoft. So would you mind just giving everybody kind of the quick summary? But I'm going to ask you just to reiterate a bit, like, what does it mean to co-sell with Microsoft? What are those key motions that you need to do to position yourself or establish yourself to be a good co-seller with Microsoft?
Well, yeah, let's start with the end in mind. And when people say co-selling with Microsoft, really at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're creating a relationship with someone inside of Microsoft, whether it's an individual or a team or a number of different individuals, and you're creating these go-to-market motions that benefit you as the partner, benefit Microsoft from whether that be license sales or Azure consumption, and most importantly, you're serving the customer, you're delivering the customer the end result that they're in need of or they're hoping for. Their desire is to solve this problem. When you do those three things, that is what co-selling is all about. You're creating benefit for everybody in the ecosystem, yourself, Microsoft, and the customer. But to do that, you really need to understand how to leverage all the tools Microsoft provides. So we talked about Partner Center and Marketplace, and we talked about the AI Cloud Partner Program. You have to understand that. You have to connect with the right people inside of Microsoft, and you have to show them the value you can bring. And to do that, you have to have a clear, concise message that shows them what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and then most importantly, what's in it for them. So it's really bringing all of the components together in service of creating a repeatable go-to-market sales motion for you, for your Microsoft counterpart, in service of the customer's end result.
Love it. And I'm going to reiterate for Carson to make sure Carson's proud of me. The pay's the play. The pay's that get you played.
The plays that get you paid. Yeah, the plays that get you
Plays that get
paid.
you paid. Know what those are when you're speaking with the Microsoft sellers
Yeah.
in order to align. I mean, that's the WIFM, right? You're going to capture their attention. If you can align what you're doing, bringing customers to them, bringing leads to them, that's aligned with their pays that get them played. I mean, which of us doesn't like somebody coming to us going, "Hey, I have this great idea to put money in your pocket." Who's
Right.
who's not going to listen to that, right?
Yeah, you think about it, depending on who you're working with inside of Microsoft, these salespeople, they're responsible for selling across an enormous platform of products.
Mhm.
And so if you can help them sell in one area where they might be behind or another area where they don't have internal resources, the value you can bring it's immense. If you can really capitalize on that and really build those plays that get you paid, that's the holy grail for all of us as Microsoft partners. It's the same value and the same benefit for Microsoft, and then ultimately for the customers themselves getting the end result.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's where I kind of bring this all together for everybody. And Rob, please jump in anytime. I can get on my soapbox and have a lot of fun with it. But look, everything that Rob said, his four stages, it's all about building your credibility, building your awareness, your reputation, your growth, very focused and structured with Microsoft sellers. But as we talked about early on, this LinkedIn is a platform that allows you to do the activities we've done for years, but we could do them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now we say, let's look at LinkedIn through the lens of a networking event or a conference. Before I keep going, I would say if you're a Microsoft seller and you're listening to this, we have a program that we want to help you, and it's free for Microsoft sellers. Reach out to us, and we'll let you know. It's how we work with you to create your content, help build your brand and your reputation on LinkedIn. Love to talk to you about that if you're interested. Again, it's free for Microsoft sellers. We'll give you all the details. And if you're a Microsoft partner, I mean, everything that Rob was talking about with this 4 stages, his proven model. I know some of his customers and they say wonderful things about their growth by implementing his 4 stages. Look, with LinkedIn, these are the principles that we believe are so important around LinkedIn. Your consistency creates credibility. And this is a big shout out to Mark Hunter, who's a partner of ours and a supporter of ours. And he says this over and over again. And in LinkedIn, it's especially true. We have to rise above the noise. And a big part of that means we're not just showing up with, hey, look at our brochure, look at what we do, look at who we are. We've got to rise above the noise by bringing our humanity into it. It's like that. Why do we take Microsoft sellers out to dinner? We want to get to know them. And at dinner, yeah, we talk about Microsoft, we talk about work, but guess what? We also talk about life. You know, I was at that dinner with Microsoft sellers, and Cody was there from Microsoft, and his wife was pregnant and she was expecting a baby, and we were talking about how he was on the trip anyway, and you know how that was working and all that. And then I messaged him the other day and I said, how's everybody doing? How's the baby? Right? We talk about life because at the core we're still human. And
Yeah.
when we build those human relationships, we solidify those relationships. So I didn't realize, hey, look, consistency creates credibility is on there twice. I'll be honest, that was an accident, but hey, it kind of, what emphasizes the point, consistency creating credibility. And
Well, I would say that it absolutely, the consistency above all else is so critical on LinkedIn. Is from my experience that I actually love that it's on there twice. I think that
yeah,
it should be. It's so, so important that consistency in LinkedIn, consistency in your reach out, it's all about the consistency.
absolutely. And the last one, attract and retain attention. You know, so often we look at LinkedIn or we looked at emails, we looked at phone calls, and we want their attention on a very specific thing. But we got to take a step back and go, how do we attract and retain attention from everybody today? And you have an audience of, let's say you've got 50 Microsoft sellers that you've identified by doing the work that Rob shared. And you're like, hey, these are the 50 people that I will really want to get to know, knowing that maybe I could establish good relationships with 3 or 4 of them. How do you attract and retain their attention today? Well, it's going back to what Rob was saying. Um, with them, what's in it for them? What kind of content do you create? What kind of messaging? What kind of stories do you share that captures their attention today, whether they're ready to work with you or not? That's how we get their attention. That's how we build that rapport and relationship. And that's how we rise above the noise and get opportunities for them to say, I want to have a call with you. I want to learn more about what you're doing. So those are the principles that we talk about with the flywheel. A cool little animation from PowerPoint there. You know, we got that done. I was so excited to show it to everybody. And this is what we're talking about with the target. Like when we bring fist bump, and why is a company named Fist Bump? Look, what we can do with LinkedIn, anybody will shake your hand when they first meet you. But what we want to do is we want to get somebody that'll give you a fist bump. And we named the company before COVID, and COVID kind of changed things because more people were fist bumping out of fear of COVID and all that. But here's reality. When somebody gives you a fist bump, you got a relationship. There's a rapport. It's kind of like that. Yeah, we've got a history together. Anybody will come up when they first meet you and shake your hand. That's why the company's called Fist Bump. And what we do for clients is really what we do is really 2 key things. The first thing is we want your targeted audience, whoever they may be, to go, oh, I see you everywhere. Right? We want them to see you everywhere. We want to influence them that they see that you are so active in the community that it changes the lens in which they look at you. I see you everywhere. And then the second thing is, I feel like I already know you. That by the time we go and ask them for something, we ask them to respond to a call, respond to a voicemail, or click a link, or respond to an email, or join us for dinner at a conference, or come to our booth at a conference, or grab a 15-minute coffee with me before the conference kicks off. We do anything that we're doing in our business motions to build relationships. It's such a huge difference when they feel like they already know you. It increases your yeses when they feel like they already know you. And that's how we use LinkedIn for our customers. We've got two processes really. One is we call our executive reputation growth program. And look, in about 2 hours a month and being in our digital studio with us, talking, you don't have to write content, just talk. We create 7 posts a week for you as an executive. We give you 7 posts. We create a LinkedIn newsletter. It's always your voice, your style, because you're the one that's talking with us. We go in and we comment. Rob and I have been talking about the value of going and commenting on other people's posts. We go in and comment on your behalf, 100 to 200 comments per week. And guess what? Your audience says, I see you everywhere, and I feel like I already know you. And that helps you create more opportunities. And then the same thing with our team amplification tool. Once you as a leader, as CEO, as a sales leader, you start doing it, we want to empower your team to be able to do the same thing. We have a team amplification program that does it. Look, if you are interested, you want to strategize what your flywheel could look like, you want to have a conversation about how you could get started. No pressure whatsoever. We're not a high pressure sales, but if you'd like to have a discussion about how can you leverage LinkedIn to grow your Microsoft partner business and meet more Microsoft sellers and grow those relationships to create those opportunities, we'd love to help you. We'd love to have that conversation. I've got a free little document that we can share with you on how to create your flywheel. And of course, if you want to just plug and play and get started right away at Fist Bump, we'd love to help you plug into Flywheel right away and get started leveraging LinkedIn. Rob, you were awesome today.
Thanks, Brandon. This was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And so, Nor, I know that there might be questions. I think I see some in the chat. Do you want to jump in and let us know what questions are coming so Rob can answer for everybody?
Well, there's one here, if you don't mind, Brandon, I'll jump in.
Go for it.
I got the question here from Joseph is, what do you do if you're not a managed partner yet? Do you see that as a huge barrier to partnering or co-selling? So let me just kind of level set on what Joseph's referring to here is that in the Microsoft ecosystem, you can be what's known as a managed partner, where you have an assigned partner, PDM or partner development manager from Microsoft that works with you and your business. Or you can be what's referred to as an unmanaged partner. And to be clear, the lion's share of Microsoft partners are unmanaged. There are a very, very small percentage of managed partners. And in my career in working with Microsoft, I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been a managed partner. I've also been an unmanaged partner. And although being a managed partner can bring some benefit, it does not preclude you from co-selling. It does not preclude you from getting leads from Microsoft. You absolutely can be successful and wildly successful as an unmanaged partner. There is no requirement to be managed, and that does not have to translate into your success. So I would encourage any partner that's unmanaged and is concerned that's holding them back. It is absolutely not holding you back. I know and work with tons and tons of partners that are not managed, and their success is not inhibited by being unmanaged. So that is first and foremost, is not to worry about that. And then we got a second question from Joseph, which is when it comes to commenting, and I'm going to ask you to respond on this one, Brandon, but when it comes to commenting, do you feel like there's office hours for commenting, or can you comment sort of whenever during the day?
Joseph, that's a great great question. And Joseph, you and I should talk about our free fist bump program for Microsoft sellers too. Yeah, great question. Look, bottom line answer is no, there's no office hours. That's the beauty of LinkedIn is number one, it's global. So what you might be thinking is a weird office hour for someone on the other side of the world. It's happening at, 10 o'clock in the morning, just as they're working. So the beauty of it is you can do it anytime. It's this ongoing conversation that's taking place. As I said, I was traveling in California from the East Coast, that 3-hour time difference, my sleep patterns were off. I normally wake up at about 5 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time. So like 2:30 in the morning in California, I'm up. What do? I logged into LinkedIn and I started engaging with people. the comments will be there whenever they get there. The notifications will go out. And sometimes, people won't log in for 2, 3, 4 days. And then they come back and they see their notification and then they answer. It's just this ongoing conversation. I think that's one of the beauties of LinkedIn. So good question, Joseph.
Yeah, I really love that question because it talks to and speaks to the fact that it's a human interaction, and we interact on our schedules and sometimes, they're posting stuff at crazy hours and we're responding at crazy hours because that's how our life is at that particular time. So I think that's a great question and a great response, Brandon.
Good, good. Joseph, I saw your comment too about answering your question and encouraging you, and fist bump, my friend. So Joseph and I, we met on LinkedIn. We've never met in person. We've chatted a couple of times. We've sent messages. Like this is a great way of using LinkedIn. And I see, George, your question is premium or navigator required to take advantage of fist bump? No, it is not. That doesn't mean I don't encourage people to consider premium or navigator, depending on what you're really trying to accomplish. There's great opportunities with premium and navigator. I highly encourage it, but it's not necessary for everybody. Depends on what your goals are, and it's not necessary for using fist bump. Yeah. All right. Well, Rob, last one I see in here. Why not have a two-way conversation with not only Microsoft, but also with our own network continually? From anonymous attendee. Yeah, I mean that's the value of LinkedIn, is that you can constantly have two-way conversations with anybody on LinkedIn, and the good news is that it doesn't even have to be your first question, your first connections. We went through that this past week where somebody that I was in the workshop with, they posted and they're like, "Oh, I don't know who this person is," and they looked and it was a second connection who actually commented on their post, and they were like, "Wait, I didn't know that could happen." Like, yeah, that's a great thing about LinkedIn. You can comment on other people's posts too that you're not first connections with. Like, it's kind of
Yeah,
crazy. It's like, when you're at a networking event and there's a group of people that are all talking and you look over and you go, "Man, I want to join that conversation." It's kind of nerve-wracking because it's live, and like, how do you join? With LinkedIn, it's super easy. You just read what everyone else is writing, you add your comment, and you're boom, right in the middle of that conversation.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so powerful. It's
yeah.
yeah, it's such a great tool for to leverage in building these relationships with Microsoft and with your network in general.
Absolutely. Everybody, thank you so much. Those that have joined us live, we appreciate that. Thank you for joining us today. Those that are watching the video, thank you for joining us. And Rob, for anybody that is a Microsoft partner that's struggling or they want to do better, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, first and foremost, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm there very consistently, and you can always get a hold of me. Or if you visit my website, www.venvito.net. And then if you do /fist bump, I've got a little free video series for anyone that's watching today or watching a replay. You can go and download that free video series where I interview a couple or three different Microsoft reps, sales rep. So it's a great way to hear directly from Microsoft what they're saying and thinking.
That's awesome, Rob. Thanks for that. And sorry, I forgot about your link. You should have said that earlier
All
in the
good, my
webinar.
friend.
But we'll get it. Make sure that that link is in the text everywhere that we share this. And just a last little pitch for everybody. Look, if you're a Microsoft seller and you're looking to up your LinkedIn game, we have a free program for you. We'd love to talk. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and ask about it. You can go to getfistbumps.com and learn about it from there as well. And if you are a Microsoft partner, and as we hear from everybody, we got to up our LinkedIn game. We have a program that's really super easy. It's very affordable, and we up your LinkedIn game really, really quickly. And you want to get known, you want to be seen. I love it. Clients send us messages all the time. I just had a referral this week because one of our clients said, "Yeah, my brother called me and he said, 'Hey, you're doing some really awesome stuff with LinkedIn, and I know you're not doing it yourself. What's going on? I need to up my LinkedIn game.'" And here you are. So my point is that people notice, they see it. Our client James, he went to his high school reunion. He was only, a couple months into doing this, and he walked through, I think, said his high school reunion, he felt like he was the prom king because everyone's like, dude, love your LinkedIn content. You're crushing it on LinkedIn. And here's the thing. He goes, I didn't even know they were paying attention because they weren't commenting or liking on any of my content.
Right.
But I'm walking around throughout the whole high school reunion and people just kept commenting on my LinkedIn content. So
Yeah,
it really, really, even when we don't think it's working, it really helps you rise above the noise and stand out.
it sure does.
Yeah. And if you have that need, we'd love to help you. So, Rob, thank you so much for joining us on a Thursday morning. I really appreciate it.
This has been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot. And thanks for everyone joining today.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next time on our Mastering Modern Selling webinar series. Take care, everybody.
Bye.